So, hello everybody and welcome! Yes, welcome and welcome back here at BSN Network here today. We welcome you back here at BSN Network here on the BSN podcast here today. It is Monday, May 18th, fresh out of the weekend, start of a new week. Today, we got a lot of sports to talk about. Hopefully, everybody had a good weekend. Hopefully, everybody's having a good day today. I know I had a good weekend, and I am having a good day so far. We got a lot of stuff to get to. There was some news going on yesterday that I want to talk about today. So here's what we got. We got LaMelo Ball, Knicks, and Cole Anthony. There's some news surrounding the Knicks about possibly trading up, try to get LaMelo Ball. Some draft talk for the NBA there. We got Bryce Harper's MLB plan. He came out with a plan, I think, Friday. I don't really agree with it, just because I think the MLB's plan perfectly fine. And I've said this Thursday and Friday, and I'm going to go on a tiny rant again today. I know I've been kind of saying a lot of stuff about, players and the money and everything, and I'm going to say it again, it's just getting a little annoying with all the players not being okay with the plan just because of the money aspect. You got to look at the other parts, and I have some things I really want to say about that, so that's coming up later on in the show. And then we have The Last Dance. That was it. Yesterday, episodes 9 and 10, The Last Dance is over. It's not sad, but it's crazy. 5 weeks flew by like that. That's a month and a week right there. I remember saying, the third week, I think, with the documentary, I was like, we're going to still talk. Every Monday, we know that we're going to have something to talk about. And I was like, yeah, we don't have to worry about it. It's until May 17th is when it's ends. It's pretty long down the road. Now here we are sitting here, 3 weeks later, because it happened, that was the second week of it. So here we are sitting here 3 weeks later talking about the final episode. There's a lot of stuff I want to get to on that. But we got to get into it because I got a lot of stuff to talk about on the show. There's a ton with The Last Dance. There's a ton with the Harper plan. And there's a good amount with the whole situation with LaMelo Ball. So let's get into it. So first we're going to talk about LaMelo Ball and the Knicks. So a report came out yesterday that the Knicks are trying to trade up or looking to trade up for LaMelo Ball. And I'm not surprised by this. Like I said I never said this, but I said it last year. But last year, I've always thought the Knicks were going to try to trade up and get Zion. If you didn't know what happened was Knicks were the team out of everybody out of all the NBA teams, they were the team to really get the number one pick. And that's the thing. So, and it was a draft lottery. They put the balls into this machine, and whatever ball comes out, it's really luck. But I think the worse you are is the more balls, I think, or the little, the balls that fly in the machine are the more balls that are in there, so you have a better of a chance. The worse you are, you have a higher percentage. So the Knicks last season, everybody's like, oh, Knicks coming to Zion. Some people already made themselves Zion jerseys. You can go online and say, or go on Fanatics or go on the NBA store or whatever. Any sport league, you could go ahead and say, oh, I want a Zion, I'm going to go get you can make a custom jersey, and you can go ahead and say, oh, I want a Zion jersey. So it says your name and everything. You could put your own number on there. And what you do is some people were making jerseys. It was a Knicks regular old home jersey, and they would be making jerseys, and it would say Williamson number 1 on it, right? And it's funny because some Knicks fans already had the jerseys and stuff, and everybody's like, "What? How do you have a jersey?" And you could just custom make them. And what's so bad is they ended up not even getting Zion. They got the third pick in the draft, and they got R.J. Barrett, who is a perfectly good pick. He has had a very good season so far. Obviously, with the season, obviously the season being shut down because of the virus and everything. R.J. Barrett had a very good year. You can make the argument he might win Rookie of the Year. If it was never for Zion and John Morant, I think he would probably win it. But I think besides them two, I don't think R.J. is going to win it. But he's had a very good year. And Knicks fans can't complain about R.J. Barrett. For everybody everybody was so mad. Everybody was so mad about them not getting Zion. And when they realized, I don't think they really realized that at first, like, okay, we still have the third pick in the draft. They got RJ Barrett, and now everybody in New York, or the Knicks fans, they all love RJ. But yeah, I think Zion's better than RJ, but RJ's still very good. But yeah, so that kind of what happened to the Knicks. So this year, people are saying now, reports have came out, the Knicks are trying to trade up for what might be the number one pick in LaMelo Ball. If you don't know who LaMelo Ball is, if you ever heard of LiAngelo Ball and Lonzo Ball, I've talked about Lonzo and LiAngelo Ball on my channel before. I don't know if it was on B Sports Network or BSN Network. I'm not sure which one. I think it was BSN, because I think the LiAngelo Ball incident happened like 2 years ago, where he caught shoplifting and he got caught shoplifting in China. I think I talked about that, and in Lonzo Ball, I think I talked about too when he got drafted. That was this is his third season, so that was about 3 years ago or whatever, 2 years ago. So I've talked about them on the show. You know how I am with if you never knew me about the Ball brothers, I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of I can't stand LiAngelo. LiAngelo is my least favorite. From what he did, he got caught shoplifting and everything. I'm not a big fan. I just don't like I don't like the father of the group, LeVar Ball. He's a loudmouth. He talks a lot. He's got a lot of talk, and his kids, I'm not trying to be mean, but his kids haven't succeeded that well. Like Lonzo Ball, from what Lakers fans expected, he was nothing. He got released, and now the Lakers are doing so much better without him. He's better on the Pelicans, but still, he's not an all-star. Still, he should not be an all-star. He's better with the Pelicans, I think, but he's still not an all-star. LeVar Ball, he's a big loudmouth. I mean, he came out the other day and said that LaMelo Ball is better than Zion, or LaMelo Ball is a bigger name than Zion. You can't say that. LaMelo Ball's not even in the NBA. You barely hear LaMelo Ball's name. The only reason you hear it is because his brother was Lonzo. So if you don't know how I feel, I don't like LeVar. I don't like LiAngelo. Lonzo's I think he's overrated in my opinion. I think a lot of people just hear the name and they're like, oh, he's so good. Same with LaMelo. A lot of people hear the name and they're like, oh, this guy's insane. Because he has the ball. He has Ball as his last name. He's so good. No, that's not the case. LaMelo's good, but there's some parts of his game that I like. There's also some parts of his game that I think he can improve on, and there's some parts of his game that I don't think are NBA ready, but I think for the most part, his game is very good. Here's the problem with LaMelo Ball. Out of all of them, Lonzo I probably like the most, just because I think when he first got to the league, he was a little cocky, and I think he's starting to even out a little bit. LaMelo is I think LaMelo's a little overrated. I think he's very good. He's worthy of a first-round pick. But what I want to get into now is you got to look at who he was playing against. I'm going to go off of his stats, but he was playing overseas. He was playing, I think, in Australia. The talent in Australia compared to the talent in the United States with all these college teams. You got the big names. You got Kentucky. You got Duke. You got, all these big-name teams. You got North Carolina, who didn't have a great year this year, but Cole Anthony, who I'm going to talk about in a couple of minutes from now, he's very good. He came from North Carolina. You always got the big names. You got Villanova. You got the Virginias. You got the big-name colleges, and, Michigan, the Michigan States. You go on and on and on. You have the big-name colleges. I think there's more talent here than out there. There's a lot of talent that comes from out there. I'll tell you what. Overseas talent, there's a ton. There's a ton of overseas talent. But what I'm saying is for LaMelo Ball to go from a league that was probably not. I mean, you go up again. You play whatever, Gonzaga, for example, Gonzaga, or Baylor too. Gonzaga. Let's just say Gonzaga, right? Gonzaga versus one of the Australia teams. I would put my money on Gonzaga. Just because I think they're taught better. I think they're overall better players. I'm not trying to say that Australia players are bad. What I'm trying to say is that I think they're just overall better, right? They have better coaching. They have better, they're just, I think all the United States is meant for basketball. Overseas is too. If you make it overseas and play basketball, it's very good. But I think it would be one thing if LaMelo Ball was doing what he was doing out there in the United States. Then I would go ahead and say guarantee first round pick. But the skill is a little bit different from college to professional Australia, which you might think, oh, college and professional, obviously the professional team is going to win. But I believe a college team in the United States would beat a professional team out in Australia. That's just me. Comment down below what you think. So LaMelo Ball is projected to be the first-round pick. Like I said before, he's a very good player. He's a very, very good player. And the Knicks want to trade up. Here's what they would be getting in LaMelo Ball if they trade up. Last season he had 17 points per game, 7 assists per game, 7.5 rebounds per game. 37% was his field goal percentage. Okay, he's only 18 years old. He's very, very young. These are some of his stats. So, game stats. These are some of his game stats. 36 minutes, 36 field goal percentage, 12 rebounds, 10 assists, 1 steal, 25 points. That was a triple-double he had. He's had a ton of triple-doubles. Another triple-double game. 11 rebounds, 13 assists, 32 points. You know how I feel, and I've probably said this a million of times. This is how I feel with Russell Westbrook. You know how I feel with triple-doubles, right? Triple-doubles are good and everything, but would you rather have triple-double, 15 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists, or would you rather have a 60-point game, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists? I would rather have a 60-point game. That's just me. Going down in your stat line, would you rather, comment down below, would you rather have a 60-point game with 9 rebounds, 7 assists, maybe 10 rebounds, double-double, a 60-point game with 9 rebounds and 7 assists, or would you rather a triple-double, or 60-point game, did I say 6? I think I said 60, but 60-point game, just to be clear, or would you rather have a triple-double, 10 points, 10 assists, or 15 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds, or, I don't know, 13 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds. What would you rather? I would go ahead and take the 60 points, just because that's a bigger score, and I think stat-wise, looking on the stat sheet, that might be a little bit better. Your shooting percentage might not, because you're going to have to take a heck of a lot of shots to get to 60 points. Your shooting percentage would probably look way better if you only scored 15. But I would rather take a stat line, 60 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. Or opposite, or, I don't know, 5 assists, 6 rebounds, or whatever. Something like that. I would rather take that. I don't know. Because 50-point games, 60-point games, you can make history off of that. You get a 70-point game, everybody's talking about you. The MVP chants are coming out. I think you would be more known. But you know how I feel with triple-doubles. You know how I feel about Russell Westbrook. Everything's about the triple-doubles. I think triple-doubles in this league are good. I think they're good. But I think they're a little overrated, in my opinion. I think everybody's like, oh, we had a triple-double, 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 triple-double. Everybody just talks about triple-doubles. There's more. Like, I just don't think, like a lot of people, like, everybody's like, oh, triple-doubles. Oh, he got a triple-double. He got a triple-double. Like, I don't know. I feel like triple-doubles are a little overrated, in my opinion. He's had a lot of triple-doubles here. I mean, let me count. These aren't all of his games. These are just some of them. On this list, he had 2. And like I said, he had a couple of these games. 9 assists, 7 rebounds, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 19 points, 24 points, 32 points, 16 points, so on and so forth, right? He had a couple good games. But like I said, I think LaMelo Ball is a good player. I think he's got the talent to go number 1. I'm just a little concerned is when he first comes to play against, or to play, like, if the Summer League happens, I don't even know. That might be out of reach. I don't even know if the Summer League's even going to happen. We don't even know. But what I'm trying to say is, let's just say LaMelo Ball comes and gets drafted. Number 1. A lot of people have him going to the Warriors, which I don't really agree with. Because the Warriors have a good point. The Warriors have one of the best shooters in the NBA in Stephen Curry. You really need LaMelo Ball? You gonna put him as a backup, or what? Right? I think he'll probably go number 1. I just don't know if the Warriors really need a guy like him. But like I said, the only thing that concerns me a little bit about LaMelo Ball is the fact that he was playing overseas in Australia, and I know he's got a lot of talent. He played at Chino Hills High School in California. I know he was probably one of the best players there. They went undefeated so many times. He was probably the best player on that team. I think he had 91 points once in high school. He's a very good player. He's amazing. He's one of the best players in the draft, I think. But the only thing that concerns me is when he gets to the NBA, is the talent from Australia, because NBA, you can't even compare the talent. NBA to Australia, the NBA talent's way through the roof. You can make the argument pro-Australia basketball, or wherever he's playing, pro-overseas basketball in college, United States basketball might be a little different. But what I'm trying to say is that I think LaMelo Ball might have a little bit of a tough time maybe switching from overseas to NBA, because the skill is going to be different. It's going to be different in either a good way, where he's going to be able to day one fit in with these guys and be a very good player, or it's going to affect him in a bad way, where he's going to have a slow start. He's going to have to ease into things, and because he got so used to kind of playing against good talent, but not as good as the NBA, right? College sets you perfectly up for the NBA. Playing overseas, I don't know if it's going to set you up perfectly. Obviously, from what scouts see, obviously from what teams see, obviously from what everybody in the NBA world sees, they see LaMelo Ball as the number one pick. They see LaMelo Ball as being a very good player in the NBA. So obviously, I've never scouted LaMelo Ball. I've never seen him play in person. So obviously, people that have either went to his games or something and seen him play, obviously they know, or watched over his film, I've seen highlights of him, but obviously know he's ready for the NBA based on this, and this. Like I said, there's parts of his game that I like. I like the fact that he's a three-point shooter. Like I said, I like three-point shooters. I really do, right? I like three-point shooters, but there's also times where I like big men or even guys that can just drive and get you the 2 points, right? I'm fine with that, but he's a very good three-point shooter. He's a consistent shooter, too. You know, it's 37%, that's about average. 40's pretty good, 50's way above average. 37 is probably about average. 30, anywhere from probably like 35 to like 45 is really good, average. Anything below that, like 20%, and it's but you get over 50, that's like unreal. I know if you looked at a quiz grade and you're like, oh, I got a 55, this is horrible. But for the NBA, 55% shooting is amazing. That's like getting 100 on a standardized test in school. You know, it's crazy. It's different. But like I said, I like the fact he's a pretty good shooter. He's pretty consistent. He can hit deep threes. He can hit shots in the clutch, and I think that would be good for him. The only thing I'm worried about, and I know I said this about 2-3 times on this podcast today, I'm just worried that if he comes here and he's not fully prepared for the MLB, is he going to be able to compete with all these other guys? You know, at this fullest, right? And I don't want him to turn into another Lonzo, because I'm not saying Lonzo's a bust, but I'm just saying Lonzo has not lived up to expectations. And I really don't think you can make the argument that he has lived up to expectations. If you had him living up to expectations, and you set some pretty low expectations for Lonzo, I mean, you probably all thought he was going to win. You know, everybody probably thought, you know, Lonzo was going to be this big player, the best player in the league. But I just don't think that's the case. Oh God, there's a bug here. You see that? There's a bug on my setup. And there it goes. Sorry about that. So, like I said, he was NBA All-Rookie second team in his first year. Grab this. Okay. Alright, I got it for now. Alright. Sorry about that. There's a bug right here. But like I said, he was NBA All-Second Team, or All-Rookie Second Team Lonzo, but nothing to what we all expected. We did not expect Lonzo to be an player. Everybody expected him to win Rookie of the Year. He didn't win Rookie of the Year. And like I said, if you predicted if you had Lonzo not being a bust right now, then you set some pretty gosh darn low expectations for Lonzo. I'll tell you that for sure. So obviously it's going to be interesting to see what happens with LaMelo. Hopefully, I think a lot of people have LaMelo being a very good player, but I don't know if that's going to be true. So that's what we got, or a little bit more actually here. I've got to expand on this a little bit. So the Knicks. So the Knicks are expected to trade up here, or not expected to, possibly. They might trade up. Okay, the Knicks might be trading up. what this means is the Knicks, I'm going to read through their guards. I'm going to read through some of them. And I'm going to tell you if I think LaMelo should be in his place or not. Because obviously, LaMelo's a guard, so obviously he's going to be in with some of these guards. The Knicks have some guards. The Knicks are an team to begin with. They're one of the bottom teams in the whole NBA. They're just not a great team. They're a team that's like it's not that good. So let's get into it. So the Knicks guards in 2020. So these are their guards: Damian Dotson, R.J. Barrett, Alonzo Trier, Kadeem Allen, Wayne Ellington, Alfred Payton, Frank Ntilikina, Dennis Rodman, and Reggie Bullock. I'm going to read you guys that LaMelo probably could start over if he goes to the Knicks. Reggie Bullock, he could probably start over. Probably Alfred Payton, Frank Ntilikina, Kadeem Allen, Wayne Ellington, and maybe Alonzo Trier. I think the guys that have secured their spot, probably Damian Dotson. He's had a decent season. I've seen him play a couple times. R.J. Barrett, definitely. You're not going to sub out R.J. Barrett. R.J. Barrett's going to take that spot. He's going to have that spot. And I think Alonzo Trier. Because I think Alonzo Trier's had a pretty underrated season. He's had a pretty good season. I just think what the problem is with the Knicks sometimes they're a little inconsistent. Their team's just a little inconsistent. Like they'll have one game where they'll put up their offense just got to get their offense has got to get better. I think that's the whole thing. Their offense has got to get better. So that's what I got for the LaMelo Ball and the Knicks. Cole Anthony is also another option that the Knicks could go. I don't know if they're going to go that route. I don't know what's going to happen. But Cole Anthony is also another option for the Knicks to go there, and that's probably the more likely option because I don't know if whoever wants or whoever's going to get. I don't know if the Warriors are really going to want to trade out of that number one spot if they get it. I really don't know because it just really all depends on what all happens here. So that's what I got for LaMelo Ball and the Knicks. Now we go into Bryce Harper's MLB plan, and like I said, I'm not a big fan. Like I said, with the money and everything. Like I said, with the money and everything, it's not a very great move with him. With what I'm hearing, it's not like anything that blows me away. His plan, but here it is. So let me try to. Okay, so here is his plan, if I can find it here. I know it off, but maybe if there's any more, just like exact logistics. Okay, so this is what Bryce Harper has the MLB plan. So baseball season, beyond the health and safety, which comes first of all, players, staff, workers, fans, and families, just an idea I've been thinking about. East-West like NBA. So there will be an East and a West, which the MLB made that plan. There's going to be the NL East and the NL East will play against each other. NL Central will play against each other, and then the AL West and NL West will play against each other. I guess the Central would play with the West then, or East West. I don't know. So there would be 135 games. And off day every 2 weeks on a Monday and a Sunday doubleheader, 7 innings. 135 games. Okay? If the season, let's just say, starts July 4th. Okay? 135 games. That's 135 days. Well, you'd have to divide 135 divided by 2. Not going to do the math. It's probably something it's got to be a decimal, right? I'm going to divide it. I'm going to quickly do some dividing. So, 135. So, 135 divided by 2 is equals 67.5. So, because there's going to be, 2 games. So, That's about, 67 days. And then there'll be an off day. So 3 off days for each team. So that's about like 70. So it would be about 70 days. The season would be, so it doesn't make sense. Because if 135 games, doubleheader, it'd still be 135 days. So I'm not sure. But anyway, it's 135 games. So let's just say it's about 70 days. Then what I'm trying to say is 70 days, that's a long time. So if it starts in July, that's about 3 months. So, right, or 2 months. So July, August, September, or, that's about 3 months, right? About 3 months. So September something. And you're talking September something. So you're talking off every 2 weeks on a Monday and a Sunday. On a Monday and Sunday doubleheader, 7 innings. 30 players, 6-man rotation, save arms, if pitchers wanted this. If no, big deal, DH and any other possibility. Playoffs, 2-week World Series, like Super Bowl week. 10-team round-robin format, College World Series kind of style, at the new Texas Stadium or whatever stadiums are best. 3-game series. To win the series, you move on. You lose, you play the other loser in a 1-game wild card. Winner of that moves on. Other team is out. Or you could play it in Vegas, so you have to have the hotels, and you could use one hotel for all the guys in contained possibility. 2 teams left, 7-game World Series. They get 2 days off before the World Series with those 2 days. You do get an All-Star game and Home Run Derby. Could the MLB awards as well at that time. Open this up on all platforms, no blackouts. Open it for everybody to watch. Then you back up the season the next 2 years, May 1st, 2021, April 1st, 2022. Maybe I'm crazy. Just fun to think about the throw around ideas. I don't hate the plan. Like I said, anything to get baseball back in my book is fine. I just find it funny now players are starting to create their own plans. I think the MLB plan, and this is just my opinion, but I think the MLB plan is just fine. 82 games. You have a little bit more playoff teams. You have something with like I don't know all of it, but it's like 82 games, extra playoff team, extra a little bit more roster on the team. Like, I think that this is perfectly fine. The MLB's plan is what I'm trying to say. I think it's perfectly fine. What I am trying to say about Bryce Harper, I don't hate this plan. I actually don't mind it. Like I said, anything to get baseball back in my book is fine. What I don't understand, and here's my thing with the MLB plan, the money aspect, right? If these players really, really, really like the game so much and played it because they really like it, played it because that's their whole, they play it because they love the sport. They don't play it because of the money. Obviously they're playing it because of the money, but they don't care that much about the money. They're getting their paychecks and they're making a fine living off of it. They would go with the MLB plan. But this goes to show you that some of these players, all they care about is the money, because I'm not saying Bryce Harper in general. Like I said, I don't mind Bryce Harper's plan. But I don't get what's wrong with the MLB plan. The MLB plan is perfectly fine. I don't think 135 games, in my opinion, is a little too much. Right? It's a little too much. But we're talking 135 games. It's a lot of games for a short amount of time. For what, 3-4 months you got until it gets really cold and you can't play anymore? Because sometimes I've had it. Like I said, I play baseball. I've played baseball. I play baseball all the time. I mean, I play baseball. I've played in the cold. It is not fun. It is not very fun. It's not fun at all. Especially being a pitcher. I'm a pitcher. I cannot pitch in the cold. I do. I have to sometimes. But I can't pitch in the cold. It's very hard. And you know what's going to happen. Players are going to be like, oh, it's cold. I'm complaining. Sometimes they can be a little babyish. And that's what I'm just trying to say. Is like, I'm not trying to say that this is a bad plan. But what's wrong with the MLB plan? The money aspect? Is that all you care about? Did you even look at the other stuff? Did any of these players even say, oh, maybe I should look at the other stuff? Because if you really, really liked baseball this much, and you really enjoyed it, you really liked it to the point where you just want it back so much, you would say, oh, it's a good plan, and not even worry about the money. Not even worry about it. You'd be like, okay, hey, I'm going to get a little bit of a pay cut. It's not the end of the world. We'll be back together next season. We'll be back fine next season. This is the thing with Bryce Harper's plan. He said, oh, next year's will be a little bit different. He said this. He said, he said, then you back up season the next 2 years, May 1st, April 1st, right? I don't like that. I don't like that. That's the one plan part of it where I don't like. Backing up the season because of 1 year is not worth it. Just play this season out, 82 games, get done in like maybe a little bit later September, and then just start the season next year at the same time you would. Because then what's going to happen is that you like I said this the other day, I don't want this to happen where they keep backing up the seasons, back them up for something that like with the virus and everything that shouldn't change 5 years from now, right? The virus shouldn't affect what I'm trying to say is the virus shouldn't affect MLB from 10 years from now. Like, play this season out, and then next year, if everything's semi-back to normal, like I said, with the masks and everything, I still think if you're going to have to go to a sporting event for the next whatever year or two, you're still going to have to wear a mask. Even if they come out with the vaccine, the people are still going to have to wear a mask, because you have to find positive effects with the vaccine. And that's what I'm trying to say, is like, if they were, I think what this whole plan is you try not to back up the season. That's why I think the 135 games is a lot. That's a lot. 82 is one thing. 135 is a ton. Is way much. A little too much, in my opinion. And I'm just saying, like, if they did not care so much about the money, these players would be like, let's do it. Spring training, June, July, we'll play baseball. But since they're all worried about the money, at the end of the day, it doesn't come down to if you like the plan. It doesn't come down to that. Sadly, it comes down, do I like the money I'm getting, or do I hate it? And if I hate it, I dislike the plan. Did they even look at the other stuff? When they went on that call with the MLB Players Association, did all they do was say, hey, what's the money? What am I going to get this season? What am I going to get? Tell me. Come on. What am I going to get? Is that all they told you about? Right? I just think the money is just taking over the MLB. And like I said, it's not a horrible plan, but it's not a great plan either. I think the MLB plan is just fine. Just fine. Bryce Harper is one of those players that all he wants is the money right now. Right? The MLB plan is just fine. But what I'm trying to say is there's also a part of it where you got to go ahead and say, hey, you know what? Maybe I just got to take a little bit of a pay cut this year and, stop complaining and, just play, right? Just play. It's another thing. Like, there's some people out there that can't even buy food, and these players are complaining about $10 million. It's just interesting, and I'm not trying to pick on Bryce Harper. It wasn't all him, but Blake Snell, for example. Oh, it puts me at risk. Oh, I can't take this pay cut. I know I might sound like I'm over exaggerating. You are over exaggerating. You're still gonna make millions of dollars. There's some people out there who can't even buy food, and you're complaining about all this money that you're getting because you're gonna take a little bit of a pay cut. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting $5 million less. You're still making $1 million. Come on. Be real here, man. Be real here. These players got to get a little bit more real. They do. They really do. So that's what I got for the MLB plan and the Bryce Harper plan. Comment down below what you think. But anyway, last dance, last episodes, last shot, last everything was last night. And I'll tell you what. I really, really, really liked it a ton. I'm going to give this series an A+. I liked it. I love this documentary. If this were to be a quiz, I would give it 100%. This was an A+. I couldn't find anything that I disliked about it. Like, I literally couldn't. I really couldn't. it was pretty cool, in my opinion, how it ended yesterday. It ended with Michael Jordan sitting there looking out that window, and then it showed him, walking back, looks like it's inside and stuff, and it really was, it was the end of a dynasty, and they showed after that year, after that 98 season, by the way, if you're watching this video, you can skip this part of the video because I'm going to pretty much tell you what happened, so you can skip this video if you want, if you're going to watch it tonight or whenever you're going to watch it, although it's going to be tough to not get it spoiled because social media, everything. Like I said, it just came out that MJ hurt his finger in a cigar cutter. But what happened was, at the end of the whole documentary, they got the win. They went to their parade and everybody was chanting one more year, one more year, one more year, and everything like that. And Reinsdorf, who's the owner, pulled in pulled in Phil Jackson, like a day or two later, and said, "You want to come back out this season?" And he was like, "You know what? I don't know. I think it's time to go." And MJ still says to this day, he said it yesterday in the documentary, it still haunts him to this day that they didn't get the 8th. He said he should have signed wish Reinsdorf would have said signed a 1-year deal, and went and signed a 1-year deal, and obviously sign a 1-year deal and go play another season, try to win it. Here's my whole aspect. End it until you lose it, right? End it until you lose it, because if you win next year, then you keep playing until you lose. In my opinion, you just keep playing until you lose. And I think, MJ obviously still says to this day that it still haunts him, that they couldn't win a 7th. I think a 7th would have been crazy. I think they could have. Like I said, I think they could have won 3 more, honestly. I know MJ was getting old and everything, but, he went back into retirement. Scottie Pippen got traded. Steve Kerr got released. Dennis Rodman got traded. Phil Jackson got replaced. And, like I said, or I've been saying this, like, the team, ever since that Bulls, it might seem like, oh, that's such a long time ago, but it's really, like, ever since that Bulls team, the Bulls have not been anything. The Bulls haven't been anything. It was ever since they released MJ, the Bulls have been in a rebuild mode, and they still are in the same rebuild mode since they left that. They had that moment with Derrick Rose for like 2-3 years, and then he tore his ACL, and then the Bulls were back to, they made the playoffs a couple times, and no major runs where they won finals. Obviously no major runs like the 90 Bulls, but they made a couple, playoff appearances and stuff. But I just think it's outrageous how they couldn't go for one more. And I think that, MJ, he could have went for one. I think they would have won one more. I think they could have. I think they had the team to do it if they would have kept that same team. Steve Kerr still had gas left in him. Scottie still played for a couple of years. He actually went back to the Bulls in 93, 94 to play there. But definitely very interesting, what all happened and stuff. And I think, after it kind of like, it was almost like, it's almost like, I don't know how to say it, but it's almost like, each player kind of went their own way. They were together, got the championship parade, and after that, it was almost like they cleaned up the locker room, and, they kind of just went their own way. Scottie went to another team, Rodman went to another team, MJ went back into retirement, and it was just kind of that same old thing. They kind of just went back in their own ways, and they kind of just left. And I think if they could have played one more year together, they would have got a 7th. And this is a report. Did 1998 have to go on? Did 1998 have to be the last dance for the Bulls? I don't think it could have been. I don't think it should have been. I think that I really, really believe that did not have to be the last dance. It could have been a year or two later. I'll tell you what, I think they could have went for 2-3 more years. I know it might sound a little outrageous, but just because, Jordan was getting older, going back into retirement, he still went out. He still came back and played with the Wizards, and I think went to 2 All-Star games. And then that was it. with the Wizards, and then he officially retired, and he's still been in retirement. You have The Last Dance change the way we think about Michael Jordan. Last Dance final proves NBA star loved winning, not much else. I'm trying to think. Yeah, ESPN airing. So the ESPN is airing Game 6, the movie, after The Last Dance success. So it looks like they're going to re-air that. But yeah, it was an awesome documentary. Comment down below if you liked the documentary. Give it a 1 out of 10. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. I give it a 10 out of 10. If I had to choose, I can't even choose anything that I just don't think they did that very well. They did everything perfect. I can't say, if I had to choose, I can't think of something. It would have to be, I don't know. I can't even think of one. I can't. It was so good. It was very good. It was a very good documentary, and I really enjoyed it. And like I said, I've watched a couple documentaries, but I'm not a big, I'm in, shows and stuff. I'm in season 5, episode 6. I'm not like that. I'm kind of just I just watch TV. But this has been one of the first times where I've actually watched the whole documentary. Obviously, 1 season. It's a miniseries, so it's 1 season, 10 parts, or 10 episodes. But that was crazy. It was a very, very good documentary. The MJ documentary was very good. It was amazing. It was re-airing. I don't think I'm going to watch it again. I just don't. I've already seen it. You could go pick up stuff that you didn't see before. And Dennis Rodman, he is an odd man. They were at practice, and Dennis Rodman didn't show up that day. And everybody was like, what happened to Dennis Rodman? And sure enough, he went over to Hulk Hogan and did some WWE something. He was an odd man. And then the next day, they had to actually bring him out at the back of the stadium because there was 300 press people there trying to come get him, and he was in the back of this. They had to bring him out the back way. They had to bring him out the back way, and he ended up having to run to his car because the media was chasing after him. I'll tell you what, the media's like that today with them, but last then they really wanted to get in your face. I feel like they might be I don't know if they're like that today, but it's I feel like it's even worse back then. They really wanted to get into your face. But yeah, so that concludes The Last Dance. It's crazy how fast time flies, and it's crazy how fast it is. But it concludes it. That's it. That's what we got for talking today on the pod. About 42 minutes. I gotta go clean up this bug here. Yeah, I'll be back at it tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna talk about the Nets pick, and I think I'm gonna talk a little bit about the Nets pick. More stuff tomorrow. So hopefully everybody has a good rest of their day today. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. We'll be back here tomorrow talking more sports. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.